Welcome back to Darold Miller Live here on the ZNS Radio and the television networks. Dr. Jacinta Higgs should be joining us momentarily. Right now, we are having a conversation with the Right Honorable Priest Kailash K. Leonce. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, it's good. It's awesome.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are from St. Lucia.
Yes, I was born in St. Lucia.
And you have a herbal manual,
Yes, I do.
which is the matrix of herbal medicine,
Definitely is, yes.
which is a guide to better living, free from pain and disease.
Yes, Honorable.
That sounds like utopia. That sounds like heaven. That sounds like we could live forever if we treat ourselves right.
Yes, definitely.
What's the basis of it?
Well, I give thanks for you having me on your program. And as you said, my name is Right Honorable Priest Kailash K. Leonce. I was born in the country of St. Lucia. I'm a medical school graduate. Did about 3 years in Cuba. Then did about 4 to 5 years at the American University of Antigua College of Medicine. I grew up with my grandmother specifically until I actually went into the realms of teaching and went specifically into the realms of production of my particular range of products when it comes to herbs. Having been through the whole medical school system and having gone through university and spent a lot of time studying and reading lots of big books, at the end of my studies, I was astounded. It was really surprising to see that the majority of the conditions that we as a black people were suffering from, including diabetes, hypertension, prostate cancer, breast cancer, coronary artery disease, and all these diseases there, we had no cure for them. So that is when
You talk a little fast. I just want to go down again. Diabetes,
hypertension, prostate cancer, breast cancer.
prostate cancer, that's men.
Yes.
Prostate cancer,
And breast cancer.
breast cancer, that's women.
Yes.
And some men. What else?
And you have, fibroids, polycystic ovarian syndrome. You have infertility, impotence in the man. And you have a wide range of what you call non-communicable chronic illnesses. Right? And these conditions specifically, like when you go to any physician today, they would say, well, you'd have to stay on this particular drug for the rest of your life. And for instance, if you are diabetic, you would still get diabetic retinopathy, you would still get diabetic glaucoma, you would still get kidney disease and go on dialysis and eventually get amputations, and still you'd still die of the same disease that you've been treated for the past 20, 30, 40 years. So that led us now to actually go forward into exactly what our grandmother taught us, go into the herbs and then creating a range of products that could actually help to bring down somebody's blood sugar levels who is 200, 300, 400, even from 700. In St. Lucia, from the years 2006, 2007 to the years 2011-12, I was the attending herbal physician for the Prime Minister of St. Lucia. We introduced a particular program when it comes to the whole aspect of bringing down the percentage of diabetes in St. Lucia by 50% within a decade. Right, because St. Lucia at that particular point was #1 in the world. So even as we are here in Bahamas, in Nassau, we have partnered with Akefran International Academy to actually bring forward what we call zero tolerance to obesity among children, that we will specifically be launching here in the Bahamas in a grand lecture this evening, where we'll be looking at not just diabetes, because we had a wonderful lecture on diabetes previously, but tonight at the Akefran International Academy from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. we'll be focusing on what we call sexuality, man and woman, the male and the female reproductive systems, the diseases arising from them, from the breast cancer to the prostate cancer to the fibroids to the polycystic ovarian syndrome. And also we're going to touch into detail a very tabooed subject when it comes to the whole aspect of sexual pleasure that a woman supposed to actually have, and how does a woman that is normally, like a spectator during the whole aspect of sexual intercourse, become someone who actually is fully engaged. Because even in 90% of relationships, when it comes to the whole sexual aspect of it, you would find that the man would be the aggressor, and then the woman would be more like the recipient. And, in society, we have what we call the minute man, the man who actually ejaculates or have an orgasm after a minute. And then the woman could never actually achieve such a feat. So we, through thousands and thousands of consultations and seeing people from all over the world, because we've received presidential invitations into Sierra Leone. We work with the Ministry of Health in Ghana, in December 2007 to in about 3 months into 2008. We also, work with the Ministry of Health in Dominica, cared for personally the Minister of Health of Dominica, and many places around the world. So we are here in the Bahamas specifically, to help, with the situation of what you call non-communicable chronic illnesses, diabetes in particular, obesity, and any one of the other partners that tag with them.
Let me inject a little pause here. You cover a lot of ground quickly.
Yes.
And a couple of things of interest to me. You said you were a consultant, healer, if you will, to one of the prime ministers of St. Lucia. Would that be John Compton?
No, that's the one that's after him, Stevenson King.
Okay.
Yes, the Honorable Stevenson King, yes.
Okay. And you said something about men, forgive me, mommy, men ejaculating quickly in a minute or so, meaning they're not satisfying their
wives, yes.
Their wives in a relationship.
Yes. Call it premature ejaculation.
So what remedy you have for these deficiencies? Is it in our diet? Is it in what we eat? Is it our exercise? What solution for these?
Well, first and foremost, tonight we're going to have a PowerPoint presentation at Akefran from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. because you need to understand the science of it. But ejaculation, the man's penis, because many times, a man don't even understand how his physical structure actually function. You go to the doctor and he pushes his finger up your anus and touches your prostate, but you're not aware that the prostate is basically right under your bladder, and it is right within 3 inches inside of your anus, through your rectum. So just understanding the location of your prostate. Let's say you're a man who have prostatic hyperplasia, or your prostate is enlarged, or you have prostatitis, it's inflamed, then you'd understand that anytime you are constipated, I'm just going on this route, if you're constipated, the rectum, which is basically where the feces does gather before it evacuates the bowels, it rests right against the prostate. So a man that is constipated, meaning that he has feces pressing and just like the finger pressing, he has a problem. Why? Because
the problem affects him in bed.
But definitely, because the prostate is responsible for the production of testosterone, which is the male hormone that's responsible for making a man feel like actually doing something.
It don't make him hard.
Well, it causes him to get hard because when a man's level of testosterone actually increases, it diverts the blood supply to the penis. Now, what's the name of the bone in the penis? Do you know? The name of the...
It begins with F-I-T.
But you see, there's no bone in the penis. The penis is a muscle, right? Yeah. So the penis is a muscle. There's no bone. The reason why the penis can actually get erect is because of the increase of blood flow. And the penis contains what they call cavernous tissue, meaning it has lots of holes. So when the blood flow is actually diverted to the penis, it fills up with blood, and it's like a one-way valve. That's why it pulsates.
You don't have to preach to me. I mean, you preach it to others because I've traveled the Caribbean.
Yes.
And a very good friend of mine is Sidney Sinclair, who believes in natural herbs. What do you use? What is it? Bush?
Herbs, yes.
Marijuana?
Yes, I mean, we do utilize herbs, herbs to actually, because you understand. That's why I give thanks for going to medical school. It afforded me the opportunity, to understand how the physical structure function, and then now I could have utilized the power of the herbs to basically prepare the medicines to bring the biochemical nature of a man back to a balance. So yes, I utilize herbs. I utilize every single herb I could think about. Of course, we utilize the marijuana. Cannabis sativa, specifically grown organically, has been one of the medications that we have been able to extract compounds from that has given us the greatest success with lung cancer. I've had clients come into our rejuvenation center in St. Lucia, that's in Kailash Rejuvenation Center, on oxygen tank, and couldn't take 2 steps, 3 steps. But with treatment after 7 days of persistent treatment of
marijuana?
Yes, of herb, cannabis sativa, marijuana as you call it here, or weed, or ganja, whoever they call it. But the extract from that particular plant was able to actually cause this man to be able to walk up the entire hill without the need of an oxygen
tank. So he didn't
tank.
Smoke it.
No, we done.
You inject into him the ingredients.
Well, you see, when it comes to different clients, so for instance, for this particular client who had COPD and also a tumor in his lung, we had to do what you call an aqueous extraction using water. So we extracted the CDB and the THC and all the other cannabinoids and plenty of minerals and what you call the omega-3 fatty acids and the whole range of fatty acids from the seeds in the cannabis. We extracted that through a blending and a pounding process, and then it was given to him in a liquid form. But for instance, if you have a patient who might have pancreatic cancer, like I had one from England, he was given about a week to live just before we came here. I was on a lecture tour in the United Kingdom, and he came down together with me, and he was given a week to live. And he spent 21 days in St. Lucia and put on weight. So his blood sugar levels that was skyrocketing because he has a tumor in his pancreas, right? We were able to control that within 7 days, right? And he's alive today, and his blood sugar levels is still actually controlled. Now, for him with that condition, and for someone who actually have gone through the process of chemotherapy, they cannot drink. What happens when they drink? They vomit. So then we utilize the whole aspect of a vaporizer, whereby this actually is utilized. The patient could actually get the benefit for vaporization, because they cannot accept it within the whole gastrointestinal system because they would vomit.
Our very special guest today in this segment of Darold Miller Live is the Right Honorable Priest Kailash K. Leonce, and he is the author of this book, which is the Herbal Manual, The Matrix of Herbal Medicine. It's a guide to better living, free from pain and disease. And this is, in my brief estimation, the perfect companion for not just men, women, boys and girls, to navigate the path of life. Simple, handy remedies for everyday problems, like rosemary to soothe a headache rather than Advil, or a bud of clove to stop that nagging toothache. My son got toothache. Daryl, I hope you're listening. This manual gives us step-by-step procedures on utilizing the herbs and also knowledge of yourself. That's what you're saying.
Very important.
That's the foundation.
That's the foundation. That's the foundation. Because at the end of the day, and love of self, because even our topic tonight at Akefran, you see, look at this, right? The woman's physical structure is created in a manner whereby she is stimulated by not just by sight as a man, but by words. So you have a wife, I have a wife. And as a father, all right, I have a father, he never taught me how to interact with a woman. But priest, man, right now you're 16, you're going 17, 18. Right now, you see your testicles getting a bit bigger, you're getting pubic hair, you're getting beard, you're going to go into a relationship. Now, when you speak into a woman, you must speak to her in that manner. If you're going to hold a woman's hands, you could hold her hands in that capacity. If it is when you come to an age to actually get sexually involved, you must speak to a woman like this, brother. And then you could touch her there, and you could make her feel good by doing this particular type of things. within our society, these things were never taught to us as a young man. So you find that as a man growing up, you have to guess. And sometimes some man 40, 50, 60, and they're still trying to guess, and they still have not actually figured out exactly how to deal with a woman. Right? So then, in our lecture tonight at the Kefran, after looking at the whole anatomy and the biology, we'll examine then how it is that you as a woman, by beginning to actually focus on yourself, because the man, what the man does, he focus on himself. If a man and a woman, they're in an argument, and you go to bed, the woman might turn her back, and the man will touch her and poke her. Yeah, man, he want his thing. He take his thing. He
can't do no rape now.
No, but he can't do no rape. Because the woman would oblige, because she does it now as a job, or as a wife, or this is her duties. But she does not look at sexual intercourse, which is one of the most divine acts. That's where people actually get created. You know, if that woman then begins to change her perception of the encounter as one as duty, but one whereby she is expecting it, it's something that's pleasurable, that'll be pleasing. This is her husband, she's going to hold him, and you know, she's going to ensure that she actually full enjoys herself. Some men, before they start, they finish, right?
So
just
you're
because
saying, men, step up to the plate and do your job.
Yes, and woman, love yourself. Don't do it for the man.
And woman, love yourself.
Don't just jump into it for the man. Do it because you enjoy it.
Watch this now. I gotta go to the break quick. You also saying, Cash, you gonna talking sense? You also saying sexual intercourse is one of the most divine acts.
Divine, man. Holy. Holy.
You Rasta?
Yes, well, I am a Rastafari. I am a member of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress to True Divine Salvation. Yes, I'm Rastafari by faith, physician by profession.
Any of the Rasta brothers here greet you yet?
Well, yes.
When you came in?
Honorable Priest Blyden, he's from here.
Okay.
Right, he's my official chauffeur.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's a teacher at Akefran. He's a joiner carpenter. You know, he's a skilled tradesman. But yeah, I have been greeted by the brethren.
Your first time in the Bahamas?
This is my second time in the Bahamas. First time I'm in under invitation, because what we're going to be doing specifically, we're going to be launching an inter-school plant-based cooking competition, because that's how plant-based cooking competition.
You're gonna cook local Bahamian plants.
Yeah.
Like kale, spinach,
things grown here,
sweet potato.
Yes.
Come on, help me out here, man.
Plantain.
Cabbage. What all you get from Andrews, Mr. Collymore? Soursop.
Yeah.
Papaya.
Yes. Because what we did in St. Lucia, we actually worked with the Prime Minister's office and also the FAO, and we initiated this program because when we witnessed the whole epidemic, diabetes, and they said in 50 years, St. Lucia is going to have a 50% increase.
Wow.
So if we already had, every day you have 2 or 3 amputations, you are looking at, you know, you'd have at least 10 amputations a day. You know, so what we did specifically, we attacked the schools. So we went into about 9 different secondary schools, and we began a national inter-school cooking competition whereby the children had about an hour to prepare a 3-course meal, starters, main course, and appetizer. We had the ambassadors, we had doctors, we had ministers, people who sample and judge, and it was a televised event. So what it did for the country specifically, it actually showed the child that it's fashionable to actually be healthy. You know, it is good to actually, a stewed okra can actually taste good. You know, you could actually do a creamy kalalu soup that could taste good, and you could do an ice cream from soursop. So we did that, and that was a great success. You know, we did the same thing at the Hackney Community College in the United Kingdom, where we went and we worked with them on that same field. So we here and we are partnering with Akefran, with Honorable Sister Dr. Jacinta Higgs, you know, who came to St. Lucia on to do one of our programs, and she gave me the permission to actually expound on that, right? To help her to lose weight, where she lost a lot of weight, a lot of inches, and
she did.
And also to bring down her blood sugar levels from the high 200s to 300 to 109,
She's
110.
supposed to be stopping by.
You know,
I hope.
so she's been a great success. And when I came here in the Bahamas and I saw what she was doing at the school, because I gave a lecture at the school the previous time I was there, I was very impressed, and I must commend her and her entire staff, you know, for actually bringing that type of education to the children and actually initiating the anti-obesity drive.
Okay, I want to ask you, who is Empress Ethiopia Rhonda?
My wife.
Is she happy with you?
She's very happy. She's my biggest fan.
Are you happy with her?
I'm very happy. She created me. I am a product. You know, a man really is a product of the woman, because the woman just take one little 23 chromosomes from the sperm and they create a baby, you know.
Stop it, man.
Of course, man. Yeah, man. So when you give your woman an idea, when you want a man, sexual intercourse is not just to juke on the hand and you fall asleep. You know, after that process, you know, that's where the creation actually begins.
You have children?
Yeah, man. I am a very fruitful man. Very fruitful.
Sound like plenty.
Yeah. It's not apparent. You know, I'm not here just coming and talking about.
You talk about what you know and what you live.
And what I live, brothers.
You live, eat. You don't die, eat.
No, man, I don't die, eat. I live it. You know, so my wife is very happy. We have 6 children. You know, and we homeschool. You know, and she's a very
homeschool
yeah, yeah, we homeschool. We homeschool. I met my wife at medical school, so. No, she's
both of you went to medical school?
Yeah, both of us went to medical school, yes.
So you have a degree, so to speak? Both of you have degrees? Is that what you're saying? This ain't just no Rastafarian in the bush thing?
No, well, I have, after graduating from medical school, I did also diplomas in herbal medicine, live blood analysis, you know, nutrition. You know, I do acupuncture, reflexology, moxibustion. You know, I do a wide range of therapeutical means to actually assist my clients, you know. Right. And it doesn't, you see, that's the problem, you know, because the man with the PhD, he cannot even live past 45. He'll die of prostate cancer. And your grandfather with no PhD was able to live to 97.
Because he ate right.
Because he ate right. You know, because his education empowered him to survive. So we ask ourselves, how relevant is your education if it cannot allow you to live past 45 before the doctor have to clip your testicles because you want to keep down your level of testosterone, or cut off your prostate because your prostate is enlarged, you know. So there are plenty bush going around here, as you call it, bush.
Yeah.
You know, that I pass and I see millions, man. I say, but wait, they say
what you talking about? Sarasi, 5 fingers, stiff cork, Madeira bark.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Noonie.
Love vine, noonie.
Neem, vervine, you know, gully, what they call guinea hen weed. You know, I see plenty.
Fever grass.
I see plenty of herbs growing here, man. Plenty of herbs growing here. So we're in a paradise, and I'm here with you. And specifically tonight, people, they could get our books, and also we have launched a series of products because we have a path, we have a passage, you know. So if it is that someone has diabetes, it's not just about come and drink a bush. Or come on, just drink that cup of tea. No, it's a lifestyle change, because look at this, right? They say diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, fibroids, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and most of the cancers are what you call lifestyle diseases. Okay? Now, when you say a lifestyle disease, that means that the reason that you are diseased, not at ease, is because of your what? Your lifestyle. So if your blood pressure,
you're too busy to cook the right things, you go on the fast food lane.
Yeah, man. And you stress. You know, stress could actually cause a woman that's menstruating to stop menstruating. Stress could cause a woman to grow tumors in her breast. Stress could cause...
So the woman could be stressed.
Yeah.
Over what? Not having a job, a man.
Yeah.
Children.
Yes.
A car even.
Yeah. And a lot of our women within our society have also been abused and traumatized. So and we must also keep that in mind, because remember, a woman is a creative being. She takes things and she holds it inside there. And most times in a relationship, the woman would rush home and try to attempt to actually have a conversation with her husband. But her husband too busy, either watching something, thing. So then the woman who now, she really has no one to turn to express whether, boy, you know, I had a good day at work today, and she's rushing home to speak to her husband.
And he ain't checking.
Yeah, checking, man. You don't have time to listen to her.
So she going what, sweetheart?
Well, she doesn't have to. You know, and most women don't even do that. You know, when a woman turns 45, she begins to reflect on her life. That's when a woman really becomes miserable, you know, because she begins to see, but look, I give this man there my whole life. I wanted to do this. I wanted to do that. I give up all these things for my children. And look at me now. You know, so that's why we educate the woman to love yourself. Take care of yourself. When you get up in the morning, before you do a cup of tea for your husband, do a cup of tea for yourself, because I love my wife. And if there are two loaves, or if there are two fruits, I tell her, take the best one, because I know that
you gonna give her better than what you give yourself.
And if it's me, I'll take the best for myself, because I preach self-love. But if it's she, I won't tell her she take the bad one and give me the good one. That's hypocrisy. Take the best one, and I'll tell her take the best one, even because I love myself. Because if my wife were to fall sick today, or she cannot do her duties, what she's supposed to do, because she runs our restaurant chain. So how is it that I would have to start to take care of the restaurant business, take care of the children, educate them, make sure they go to karate, plus do my other duties. So ensuring that my wife loves herself means that I have less to do in her department. So self-love is the foundation, man. And as a man, you have to ensure that you love yourself, and you have that capacity to empower your wives and make your wives love themselves. So tonight's lecture is going to be dynamic, man, because it's going to be PowerPoint, you know, and also we will have all the books available. We're going to have all the products available, you know, and we partnering with Akefran, you know, and we're going to change the landscape of things in the Bahamas, you see, because, you know, I remember when I was in Cuba, man, Bahamas used to have some good looking sisters, you know.
All right, like, watch it now. Ain't nothing changed.
But yeah, plenty change, man.
I don't want you to go nowhere.
Plenty change.
I go into the break. I go into the news break, and we're coming back.
Okay.
I want you to know that the Bahamas is #1 in the entire hemisphere. This is Darold Miller Live with the Right Honorable Priest Kailash Leonce.
Blessed.
We'll be back. I love this.